everyone to the workshop on naturally developing a speech. It's an interesting topic. I spent a lot of time when I first joined Toastmasters on developing speeches. And, first question I have for everyone is, do you find yourself spending a lot of time in writing speech mode? Does it take you a long time to get yourself excited to do a speech? And you can just nod your head if you don't want to unmute yourself. Oh, and Monique says no. Okay. Well, I will tell you that when I first went through the whole Toastmasters program, the Distinguished Toastmaster program, I took 8 years. And I thought about it when the program changed. I'm like, well, what was it about this program that took 8 years, do another 8 years, do another? And I realized it had to do with how I was preparing speeches. And the way I did it was I would write out a speech word for word, and I would memorize it word for word, and I would deliver it word for word. And really, I have just one word for that: painful.
I agree.
Yeah, it really took so long. I will tell you this, there is nothing more intimidating to me anyway, is that white page on the screen. I would say my house got really clean. Anytime I knew I had a speech coming, I would be doing everything but writing that speech. And so when I decided that I wanted to do a Distinguished Toastmaster with the Pathways program, I said, something's got to change. And so this is the approach that I am presenting today, is how did I go about doing this? And I'll take you through it, but I will give you an early view. Is I developed it in such a way that I am now very comfortable in developing a speech, and I've completed the Pathways Distinguished Toastmaster, the entire program, and it took me about a year. So I will tell you that it has definitely worked for me. And so today we're going to explore how that happened. All right. So first thing is to pick a topic that you are passionate about. I know that this might seem basic, but the reality is if you're talking about something you're not that excited about, chances are that passion's not going to show and your audience is going to feel that. And so it's very important to think about any kind of topic, whether it's research related or topics that you've wanted to talk about for a while, or topics that you're really knowledgeable about. Pick something that you are actually, in fact, interested in. And I think with the old program, sometimes it was very specific what you needed to be talking about, so it was more difficult. With Pathways, I found the projects were a lot more flexible. And so I found this next wave was a lot easier to work with. And so one thing I want to explore with everybody is this notion of creating a speech plan. This is a tool that's available on the District 61 website. If you go under Resources, Pathways, you'll find it in the Documents section. And it has every path available except for humor speaking for now. But what I did was I took this one, I did the Dynamic Leadership Pathway as my first path. And I thought about all of the speeches that I wanted to do, or that I was planning to do. And I just wrote them out, and then I said, okay, well, which one would fit best with each project? And so just for some examples, for the icebreaker, in fact, I was campaigning that year. So I was doing a campaign speech, talking to people about myself and what I was standing for. So that was my icebreaker. And there was other projects I wanted to do in terms of work projects, in terms of the role I was playing at Toastmasters. And so I mapped them out without really having a speech scheduled. I would actually think of all the speech projects related to every single project and level within dynamic leadership. So I want to start by doing that with you guys today. So I'm going to stop the recording for a second, but I want all of you to take about 3 minutes to just do that. So just brainstorm with yourself. different topics that you would like to talk about, and maybe even think about which ones might fit with what you see here in terms of the projects. If you want, you can go on and click on these to see the descriptions, but for the most part, they're relatively descriptive in their titles. So just think about some speech topics, and we'll hit pause for a second, and we will resume in just a few moments here. Okay, well, we're back, and everyone's had a chance to brainstorm some topics, maybe use dynamic leadership, maybe used your other path that you've taken a look at. And so just unmute yourselves and let us know, what are some of the topics that you came up with that you want to do a speech on?
Yeah, so for myself, Toastmasters is really a lot about my job. So recently I got a new position. I work as a CPA, so I got like a lot of, I got a good promotion. I was hired by a new company. So that's something that I usually talk about. I'm at my level 2. So understanding my leadership style, I really fit in well. But now communication style, I'm actually in the process of it. It's been 2 weeks. I'm thinking of how I can make it work. And it's a bit harder for that. So yeah, that's my topics.
I like how you're using some creativity even with those self-reflection projects, the communication style and the leadership style. You can have some fun with it, especially with the survey, the questionnaire that you go through. So it's nice to hear that you're thinking how that connects with your life. That's awesome. Anyone else have other speech ideas?
Hi. I think I'm in the visionary track. I kind of lost track where I am, but I think it's visionary.
Okay.
But some of the subjects that I've been looking to do, one is going to be called the second act, meaning now that I just found out there's a new term. I'm an autumn hire. So over 60, you're considered an autumn hire, which is a bizarre term. So that's caught my attention. The other is about writing my story, which is the memoir trip that I've been taking on, and the values that can bring to everyone. And the other was speaking plainly and writing plainly. I think that's the new focus for a lot of people. And I think with Toastmasters, that's important, to write your speeches or your table topics at no more than a grade 6 to grade 8 level, which is a good tip to manage when you're putting it together a speech. If it's 18 words or more, it's more than necessary in a sentence.
Okay.
So it really, and I have some background that I could utilize to tell people how to score their writing.
Perfect. Joanne, did you have some topics you're interested in talking about?
Yes, definitely. I'm actually doing the dynamic leadership. Looking at the electives, create a podcast, definitely something. These are great because you can also do research. So definitely want to do one on creating a podcast, writing a compelling blog, or even now I'm thinking because of a keynote speech that I'm working on for something else, that maybe the managed question and answer session would also be good for me to take a look at. Okay.
So I'm looking at everybody's topics, and we're going to write the speech together. Any votes from everyone? I'm thinking talking about a promotion could be a fun topic for all of us. Is everyone in agreement? We were going to try and tackle a promotion topic.
Yes.
So what we're going to do with this promotion topic is, you know what? I'm going to move this for a second. The next part of this is developing a structure. So you have your topic now, and the key thing is to write down. So there isn't a lot of writing that I ask to do for the naturally developing a speech, but the first thing that I do is I think about my topic and I say, okay, what is the main point I want to take away? And once I have that figured out, what is it that the audience is going to take away when they listen to my speech? Then I think about what are the 3 key sub-points that go with that main objective. So what we're going to do now is we're going to hit pause again on the recording, but everyone is going to do this now. When we talk about getting a promotion, what's the main point we could have with that speech, and what are some 3 key points we could do with that objective? So I'm going to hit pause now for a bit. We're going to take about another 3 to 4 minutes just to let you all write down your overall structure of your speech. So just hang tight for a bit here. Okay, we're back, and I'm very excited to hear what everybody has to say in terms of their speech structures. This is what you have done in this exercise. Who would like to go first?
I'll go first.
All right. So we're just going to share the main objective and your 3 points at this
So
point.
are we actually delivering it, or just
No.
the points
No,
themselves?
just the 3 points. Share with us your outline. We're going to decide as a group which one we want to go with.
Okay, my outline is basically from panic to I know, identifying and that there's a learning curve, not to be so hard on yourself, and find your groove and know that you've made the right decision, and so has your new boss, and allow yourself to enjoy the ride of the new job.
So if you were to summarize that into 3 points, how would you say it?
Panic, learning curve, and joy.
Enjoy. Nice. Alex.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go
Yeah.
next. Okay, so the key objective, actually, I'm going to keep the key objective for the last part because that's the one I'm the least sure about. So, but I have 3 subpoints that I feel represent what a promotion is about. So the first one is taking on more responsibilities. The second is growth and personal development. And 3 is helping the organization and the people reach a next level. So, and the key objective, I couldn't quite find the thread that would get all that together, but I'm gonna say inspire towards the future. That's the key objective of the speech. So those are my that's my structure.
Okay. Oh, we take one more.
I'll go.
Oh, fantastic.
Okay, so yeah, I got the promotion of a director. So first of all, I'm so excited, grateful. I'm really like, I'm flying high. And then my second point was, oh my God, wait a second, what have I done? Am I fooling myself? Can I do this? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm panicking, and what have I done to myself? And then finally I said, hey, wait a second, I can do this. I'll be the best director ever.
And what is your main objective?
Okay, so what do you mean by main objective?
So what is the key point you want the audience to take away from your speech?
Oh, you're cutting up.
Oh, can you hear me?
I want them to take, yeah, okay, yeah, you just cut off there for a second. I want them to take away that, you know, you got to push yourself. Yes, it's scary, but that you have to, you know, it's exciting. You've been wanting this, but the key objective is to tell the audience that, hey, you know, it's going to be scary, but you can do this.
Okay. All right. So I did one as well. So I'll just share this one as well, and then we're going to have a quick vote in terms of which one we all want to go with. So my main point was getting a promotion takes hard work and dedication. My first point is you got to study. So what happened in school helped build the foundation. Number 2 is say yes to opportunities. And number 3 is communication matters. So we have Monique. Actually, Monique, what was your main objective? Oh, you're on mute. And now you're not. Okay.
Okay, my main objective was acknowledge that you're going to be in a panic mode, allow yourself to grow, and embrace the adventure of the new job.
All right. So Monique, I heard number 1 was panic, 3 was learning curve, 3 was enjoy. Alex, your main objective was inspired towards the future. First one was actually, sorry, I didn't get your first one.
Yeah, it was taking on more responsibilities.
Oh yes, more responsibilities. 2 was growth. 3 was help the organization and development. Joanne, your main objective I heard was you got to push yourself. And first point is flying high. 2 is what have I done? And 3 is what I can do this. So everyone, which one would you like to do? We have Monique's, which is embrace the opportunity. Alex, which is inspired towards the future. Joanne, you got to push yourself. Or mine, getting a promotion that takes hard work and dedication. Any thoughts? Or are we going to vote for our own?
I like Kimberly's personally.
Aw. All right. Okay. So we're going to do table topics now. And we need 5 participants. I think we have 4 so far. I have Alex, Monique, Joanne, and Mark interested in doing a table topic. Is there anyone interested in adding that, or one of these are going to do the intro and conclusion? Nope. Okay, that's totally fine. So I will ask Alex, do you want to do the intro and the conclusion?
For the okay, you'll explain, but for the structure that you set out, right?
Oh, I have Simone is willing to do a table topic. All right, so Alex, you're going to do 30 seconds of an intro. So your table topic is 30 seconds. And you're going to talk about your main objective, which we had said was
about the job.
we are getting a promotion takes hard work and dedication. So just in your intro, make sure you kick off your speech and make mention of that point. And then we're going to have Monique do the first point, which is school and studying. And we will have Mark do the say yes to opportunities. Joanne, do you want to do the communication matters?
Sure.
And then Simone, do you want to wrap everything up? So usually in a conclusion, we will just restate the 3 main points and just bring it all together. So, here's the main objective, and then this is how we conclude. Are you guys all good? So again, table topics, you don't get any time to prepare. I'm going to let you think a little bit because I'm going to just talk about this for a second. So when I develop my speeches, I don't write anything out except for the structure that we just talked about. But I will, in the car, in the shower, wherever, like when I'm making dinner, I will do table topics for each of the points. And as we just mentioned, we basically take 2 minutes for a table topic. So if you do a 30-second table topic for your intro, 2-minute table topic for each of the 3 main points, and 30 seconds for your conclusion, there's your 7-minute speech. So it works really well, and it's very handy when you're out and about and you need to think about something. Why not write a speech at the same time? So that's the beauty of what we're going to do today. And again, I encourage you to attempt to practice this many times, when you are developing the speech. It's not about cutting corners with developing the speech. You are still rehearsing it and preparing it, but you're actually spending dual time with the development of the content together with how you want to deliver it. Maybe not as many hand gestures in the car, keep your hands on the wheel, but you can work on your vocal variety and how you want to deliver it, where you want to add the emphasis and things like that. So I encourage you to do table topics for each of your points many times, as many times as you need to feel comfortable that you like what it is you're going to say with that. And so with that, we're going to do this now. We're going to, in fact, write the speech about the promotion by having 5 different people do their table topics. So I'm not going to bridge in between, just everyone knows who's doing the intro and then each of the points and the conclusion. Yes, Monique.
How much time do we have for each unit? So we have an idea.
Yeah. So for the intro, it's 30 seconds. For each of the 3 points, it's 2 minutes. And the conclusion is 30 seconds.
So 2 minutes on the point that.
Correct. So Monique, Joanne, and Mark get 2 minutes.
and I have the school and studying.
Correct.
Okay.
All right. Everyone good to give it a go? So I'm going to pass the floor over to Alex to kick things off. And I'll just give a wave if you're at the end of time.
Perfect. Thank you, Kimberly. So oftentimes when we start growing up, we hear about people being naturally good, people taking a head start, and people just being advantaged by their natural skill. And that often helps people in the beginning. But life is a long game, a career is a long game. And it's the people who do succeed are the people who come early, stay late. It's the people who show hard work and dedication. And that is what really drives to growth and personal development. Maybe that was
As part of that, school and studying. When you hear the word school, a lot of people have a negative connotation about it. But it's not so much the institution, it's how you bring yourself to learn and to study. You learn all the way through your life, regardless if you have a job and you move on to another job. It's the whole idea is to learn on the job, study what you see that are great examples in your workplace or in your social networks. Watch your community. In fact, watch yourself. One way to learn is to learn how you approach tasks. What are things that you're doing well, and what are things you need to improve upon? So self-evaluation is a form of studying. And going to school, self-help, self-training is an opportunity to expand your horizon and look at other options that can help you along the way. Having a roadmap for your education and your training is equally important. Look at the areas that you've always wanted to try, but you were too afraid to move forward into the next level. Or take a look at the things you're really good at and maybe consider training others so that you can share the knowledge, because by doing that, you also obtain insights that you may have forgotten through your experience. So give it a shot. Don't shy away from school. You won't get bad grades. It's all about learning, failing, and learning and succeeding. And that's a very key part of your development for your next promotion or enhancing your current job.
Why I say yes to the opportunity? You know, since I am in this company, I got many consideration from my colleague, and I don't think when I start that I will have some opportunities. So I get this one and I say yes. I know that it will include a lot of work, and also I am ready to take some time to work because my family is open to do that. My kids are teen now, so I have time to spend to my life in a job. Also, in this opportunity, I will have to manage people. That is one of my goals. Why? Also, it's a secondary effect because I have to educate 2 teens, and it's not easy. I think I can help. I think to manage people at my work will help me to manage my team. So I don't have any opportunity of my work, so I have to I have to say yes to this opportunity. It's now for me the time I have, I think it gives me some. I need to learn how to manage this opportunity. To ask my manager what are my goals, what are to respond correctly to what the chance the company gives to me. But I think it's worth the work.
Okay, so managing my team and each individual, communication is going to be so important, especially in this new role. I'm going to have to communicate with my superior, but also with my team, what each individual want to make this opportunity or how to make the most out of a department. So communication is going to matter very importantly, especially in the first 90 days on the job, to find out what are people's ideas. It's not just my idea, but make sure that we are all on the same page, that we have the same goals, that we have the same dreams about the environment that we want to create, the environment, the culture that we want to create together to be able to have a common goal towards success, and having being able to come to work and being happy to be there. So communication is going to be very important, especially at the beginning, and especially being in this new role, to engage my staff, to engage the people around me, and to engage people to be confident and to be able to give their stories, their ideas, and to feel comfortable in doing that. And this is how we're going to be successful in our department, to be, and this is how I will be successful in my new role, is to communicate with my team, communicate with everybody. I cannot do this alone, and I will not be successful alone unless I bring everybody on board, and that we get all together and that we have the same goal.
Okay, in conclusion, you've made it to your job through a lot of hard work. You made this promotion through hard work and dedication. It's been accumulation of your school and studies over the years, which a lot of this promotion that you have received, you've earned through your studies. So reassure yourself that you are capable of doing it, as opposed to, and you've already said yes to this opportunity, so take advantage of it. Go out there and show them what you can do. Don't be afraid to talk to people, talk to your manager, set out the expectations, as well as when you start to get into the job, remember that communication is important. The communication with your superiors as well as with your team, it's important in order to set the tone that will take you forward as you develop in the job. These are the key takeaways that we would like you to remember about this new promotion, so that you can jump into it with full vigor.
All right, yay! So you guys just wrote a speech, and that was actually just over 7.5 minutes. So we'd have to work on carving that down a little bit, but most of you were able to stay relatively within time, and very interesting ideas that came out. How did you guys feel about that process?
That's very good.
Yeah.
Yes.
I liked it a lot. I thought it was just jumping into it. Even when you were talking at the beginning, I was like, okay, I want to jump into it, or else I'm going to overthink it.
It's true. And I was looking up tips for how to do impromptu speaking, and I loved some of the points that came up. Some of these are on the Toastmasters International website, and I love the point about telling personal stories, really getting into it. And when you tell stories, you will remember it. You don't have to worry about saying the exact right words every time either, and going with the first little idea as well. Sometimes your first idea is the best idea, and just sticking with it and trusting your gut is often, when we do impromptu speaking, so important. And again, when you have the structure and you know what your key point is, and you include that in your introduction, and then you have your key 3 points that support that objective, it helps the audience come along with you. And it also helps yourself when you are structuring. And as we've now learned, if you know what your 3 key points are, you can really, it's very easy to remember 3 points, as opposed to remembering a fully written out 7-minute speech, which can be several pages long. So it's a lot less daunting. And as long as you rehearse it wherever you need to a few times, and maybe there's some research you need to do. If you want, you can bring a couple notes to make sure you reference your research, but when you trust yourself and you know that you've already delivered it many times wherever it is that you decide to develop your speech, you know that you can trust yourself a lot more as opposed to when you're memorizing. And so the last piece I wanted to share is when you actually go and deliver the speech. The first time I did that this way, this approach, it was very intimidating. But I was very determined that I wanted to make this work because it just felt like I wanted to be more authentic and more in the moment on the stage. And one thing that I realized as I was going through this is we are all changing all the time. In fact, none of us are the same person from 1 minute to the next, because when we talk to different people, our perspectives are constantly evolving. So what happens when you write out a speech word for word and you memorize it word for word is that you are writing it as a person in the past. So oftentimes you won't even necessarily remember all those words because your whole mindset has changed. And it works so much better as well when you're in the moment and you're able to draw in the audience by talking about things that have happened in the meeting even. And so the thing that I realized after I went up the first time and was pretty nervous about it was, I mean, we all have conversations every single day. It could even be a conversation with yourself, but nonetheless, you are having conversations with people, whomever, every single day, and going in front of an audience should be no different. You go up there, and if you're really nervous, pick one person to talk to. Have a conversation. Tell them your stories, your 3 sub-point stories that you've come up with, and focus on that one person. When you want to develop further, look around the room. If you're really nervous when you look at someone's eyes, just look above their eyes, look at their eyebrows, and it will make them feel like you are looking in their eyes, which is what connects you with the audience. Don't stare too long, but you don't want to be a windshield wiper either, is something I learned in the last couple of years as well. And so, yeah, so just go up there, be yourself, trust in yourself to have a conversation with the audience. You've picked topics that you're passionate about. You have a solid structure. You know what your objective is. You have conversations every day. You really just get up there, trust yourself. And I assure you, the more you do this process, the easier it gets and the more fun it is to develop a speech. And you feel a lot more efficient with your time as well. And so that's really the essence of what I discovered when I decided to do the Pathways DTM, the Distinguished Toastmaster again. And doing a path really only took me a couple of months. I was speaking a lot, and I will say having this new structure and way of developing speeches worked so much better for me. And I hope that you find it works well for you. Give it a try. I'm always curious to know how it goes. If you find anything different, please do share that with me as well, because we're going to keep evolving this workshop. We are doing this workshop a lot with our Pathways Accelerators, and it really works well, again, to do it in groups. You can notice it's a bit disjointed a bit with the different people doing table topics. So if you do this in a group setting again, even try thinking even more about how to transition between your stories. But overall, you see how easy it is to develop content, in particular when you are developing your speech. And that is all I have for today. Is there any questions or comments that anyone would like to make before we wrap up?
No, I like the idea and the structure. I've been developing a more off the cuff style of writing, whether it's evaluations or table topics. But it's true, it's got to be a subject you're passionate about. So I'm not passionate about the promotion subject because it's a different phase of my life. So understanding that the passion has to be there, as opposed to doing a speech on something that you're not, quote, engaged in the same way. And it's interesting how we all took different takes. I was speaking in my mind, speaking to myself in the mirror versus speaking like the colleagues tonight, they were speaking to their employees or their colleagues. So it was sort of like a mixed audience, but definitely the passion piece is really critical. So
For
it's
sure.
a good idea.
Thanks for sharing. Any other questions or comments from anyone?
I'm gonna try it, Kimberly. I've been writing my speeches, and actually I did a speech not long ago, and I told all my Toastmasters colleagues, I said, you know, I just got to be more natural. Like, and I feel like this is really going to be something. The only issue that I'm thinking of is filling in the time. I have a tendency to be brief. You know, even my introduction today, I was like, yeah, I said what I had to say. So next. So maybe that's one thing that I'm going to have to work on, but I like the whole idea.
No, for sure. And even using table topics during meetings to practice using the entire time. But the thing I like about table topics, again, because you can do it anywhere, you can pick any topic and say, okay, I need to work on this. And for me in my Toastmasters career, I've just found table topics has changed how I communicate, because you think about your main point, and with table topics, it's often just time for 2 points. And you can structure your thoughts and communicate them so much more effectively. And so I love table topics. I always have. It's been my favorite part. And now incorporating it into the speaking part has worked really well for me too. So good luck with your endeavor to use up more of the time. But you know, you can do 5 minutes. It's a 5 to 7 minute speech. So nothing wrong with 5 minutes either. Any other comments? All right. Well, I want to thank all of you for your participation and for joining me tonight. And as I said before, I would love to hear how it turns out for you. And please do feel free to share this with your clubs, and know that we will be posting this on the District 61 website as well. And hope you have a great evening, and best of luck going forward.
Thanks, Kimberly. Thank you.
Thank you.